Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This month I am letting this TBR jar choose what I read. I think I'm gonna choose 6 prompts because I have other reading vlogs I want to film this month and I don't want to overwhelm myself too much with my TBR. And it's also the last month of the year, so I want to actually finish this TBR. But it's been so long since I've done one of these videos that I actually kind of forgot what prompts I have in this jar. So this is gonna be a surprise to me, which is kind of fun. So let's just jump right into it and choose my first prompt. Okay, first prompt is a book based on a true story. Okay, this might be hard to find on my physical TBR. I also want to mention this shelf is my priority TBR, but this shelf also has books that I have not yet read on it, so I'm mostly going to be choosing from both of these shelves. And then I've actually already read all of these books behind me, so I'm mostly going to be looking over here. And at first glance, I really don't think any of these books are based on a true story. Are any of Jane Austen's books based on a true story? Okay, quite a bit of Googling later, and I just found out Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein is based on a true story, and I've actually read this book before. I think I read it either in middle school or elementary school. I think it was middle school. So I want to say that this is a YA book, but based off of Google, it says that the story is based on a family that actually used to live in North Carolina, or actually maybe it's North Dakota, but apparently it's based on the story of 200,000 poor orphaned and abandoned city children who were sent on trains to the Midwest from the East Coast between 1985 and 1929, and it looks like they were sent there to help poor farmers in sparsely populated heartlands. Okay, interesting. I kind of don't want to read any more about this book because I want to go in slightly blind, even though, like I said, I read it, but I read it like 10-15 years ago, so it's been a long time. So that sounds really interesting, and I don't think I knew that this was based on a true story, so I'm excited to read that one. Yeah, that's crazy. It says these trains were carrying thousands of abandoned children whose fates would be determined by pure luck. Would they be adopted by a kind and loving family, or would they face a childhood and adolescence of hard labor and servitude? So first book on the December TBR. Okay, time for prompt number 2. We have a book that ends in an even number of pages. Okay, interesting. I feel like this gives me a little bit more freedom than the last prompt did. Okay, this is weird. I have so many books that end in 325 pages. Okay, I pulled 2 options because I actually have a lot less choices for this than I thought I did. But the first one I have is Behind the Beautiful Forevers, which I actually think I'm leaning towards this book. This is Love and Love. This is the second book in the Love and Gelato series. So I feel like I can't exactly explain what this one is about because I don't want to spoil anything. But the first book, Love and Gelato, is a YA romance, and it follows our main character after her mother dies. And she goes and lives in Italy for a summer, and you follow her as she's exploring her grief and also just exploring Italy. And it's actually a really good book. I think it might be one of my favorite YA romances, and I definitely want to read this book ASAP, so hopefully I can get to it in December because I'm afraid that I'm going to start aging out of the YA genre. So I'm trying to get all the YA books checked off of my TBR before I actually age out of the YA genre, which, I mean, hey, if I never age out, that is fine by me, but I'm scared I'm going to age out before I check them all off of my TBR, and I definitely want to finish this series. So this is our second book added to the December TBR. Time for prompt number 3. Ooh, okay, this is a book that has a place in the title. Oh, that's a place. Is Mansfield Park an actual place? I'm gonna count it. So one of my options is Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. I actually don't know what this book is about, which I think that makes me want to pick my other choice, which is The Vigilante Poets of Sylvan Academy. And again, this is another YA book that I want to read. So like I said, we're gonna check off this YA TBR. And it's also a really super short book, which honestly, sometimes it's nice to just have a short, fun YA read. And this one has been sitting on my TBR for well over a year at this point, so I definitely need to get to it. This follows our main character who is going to this academy. He's in high school, and all of a sudden they start filming this reality TV show at his high school. And I just remember from the synopsis, he was very upset and not happy about the fact that there's this reality TV show kind of impeding his school life, and I'm sure we're gonna learn more about him. And I think that there's also maybe a main girl character that's like kind of like the star of this reality TV show, so maybe it's a romance. I'm not actually sure. This is funny funny. It says on the front, the only thing more dramatic than reality TV is high school. So maybe we've got a little dramatic YA in store for us. So I'm excited for this one. This is book number 3 getting added to the December TBR. Okay, prompt number 4. I dropped 2. Oh, I picked 3. Technically, so oops. Let's see. This is a book with an ugly cover. Okay, so it's definitely not any of my Jane Austen ones because those are beautiful. Let's see. I already know what cover I don't like because it's like right in front of my face and I really don't like this cover. Starlight Nights. I'm not a fan of this. Like, I'm so glad we stopped putting people like this on the cover. Like, I just don't love that. I don't want to be looked at on the cover of a book. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this cover either, but it seems fitting for the book, so I think I'm gonna put that back. I think I like all of my other covers. Let's see. Yeah, I think this has got to be my ugliest cover. No offense. It's not the book's fault, okay? I just don't like this cover, okay? And this is another book that's been on my TBR for a long time. I feel like most of these books have been. That's why they kind of became my priority TBR. So I'm glad we're hopefully going to get through a bunch of these books in December. But basically this book follows 2 actors, and I don't think I've read like an actor romance before, so I'm excited to see what happens with that. Sorry if the angle changed, my camera died, but that gave me the opportunity to read the back of this book, and it actually looks like this is a second chance romance, which I love second chance romance. I think that might be one of my favorite romance tropes, and it looks like they used to be actors and they met on set filming maybe like a show or movie or something like that, and our main character decides she's leaving the acting life behind. She wants to have like a normal life, so she decides to go to college, and then I'm assuming that's when they rekindle their love. I think it might be, yes, it looks like it's a dual point of view, which I love, so I have high hopes for this book. I love second chance, I love a dual POV, and I think this is technically the second book in a duology, but I looked it up before and it said I could read it as a standalone, so hopefully that's actually the case because I very much want to read this one. I'm very excited. And like I said, I don't think I've read a book about like acting in the sense of like a romance book, so I'm very excited about that whole side of it. Fun fact, when I was in like middle school, I used to be like in the like theater classes, and I was obsessed with acting. Like I wanted to be an actress, you know? And I actually one day asked my dad to get me a agent because I wanted to be an actress, and he was like, I think you should probably, you know, like do some more like plays and stuff, have that on your resume. And I was like, well, I don't want to do plays, I just want an agent. Like I want to do commercials. So that obviously didn't get very far because I'm not an actress. Maybe one day. Anyways, this is officially the 4th book on my December TBR. Prompt number 5. We have a book that starts with a random letter. Okay, interesting. Give me a random letter. Oh, M. Okay, I think I was actually looking at this earlier and I don't think I have many options for this. Okay. I was going to cheat and I was going to use Magnolia Park's Into the Dark for this, and I say cheat because I did start this book. I'm like 100 pages into it, but it's a 700-page book, so it's a very long book, and you know, fits the prompt, starts with an M. But then I saw that I have Mansfield Park. I don't know why I was thinking I didn't have any M books. I was like looking at my bookcase, like why do I have no M books? This is the only M book I have on my shelf though. So I think I'm gonna read Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. Am I saying that right? I don't know. I also don't know what this book is about, so I think I'm gonna have to look up a little synopsis because I don't think my book has a synopsis anywhere. Yeah, I don't see one. So let's look up a little synopsis of this book. It says it's a story of Fanny Price, a poor girl sent to live with her wealthy relatives at their country estate in Mansfield Park, or maybe that's the name of their estate actually. Anyways, it says it navigates the complex social and moral landscape of her new life. Ooh, okay. It looks like she's living with her cousins and she becomes like really good friends with one of her cousins, and then another family arrives at the estate and it kind of starts this romance. So it looks like we're gonna get a good amount of like friendships, good amount of romance, good amount of maybe family drama. I feel like Jane Austen has a good bit of family drama in her books, at least the last book I read. Or was that the last book I read, or was that the first book I read? Why am I getting them all confused right now? One of the books I read I was like, ooh, this is kind of dramatic. Like, I cannot believe her dad just said that. Anyway, if you're a Jane Austen fan, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. Adding this book to my December TBR. I only have one more prompt left, so hopefully it's a good one. This is a book with yellow on the cover. Okay, I don't know how many I have for this one either. This is yellow. No. Oh, this has yellow. I actually have 3 options for this, and I feel like I could have kept pulling books, so I'm shocked that I had this many books with yellow on the cover. So our first option is I'm Just a Girl, which is actually a book of poetry, and I don't think I've read a poetry book in a really long time, so this could be a top contender. But then also I'm trying to read through more of my series, and this is the next book in the Maze Runner series. This is The Kill Order by James Dasher. I mean, it's mostly orange, but there is some yellow on there as well. But I mean, obviously this one is like mostly blue, but there's some yellow. So I was pretty loose with the yellow category, especially on this book. Like, it's literally just the beginning of the word is in yellow, and this is Credence by Penelope Douglas. But I need to quickly decide because I don't know if you can tell, I'm like losing my sunlight. The sun is setting right now, so I need to decide what do I want to read. I actually think I'm leaning towards this book of poetry. I got it for my birthday, not this birthday, but the year before that. So it's been sitting on my TBR for a while, and I don't know, I think that this is fun. It is by Molly, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but it says she is in her second year at RIT/NTID. I don't know what that is, but it says she's studying ASL interpreting and biology. That's funny. It says when she isn't talking, you will find her with the book. And then it says this is a collection of poems. I wanted to write about girls and their lives, their emotions and thoughts that are just so big sometimes they don't know what to do. I wanted to write to show the world my words. So that sounds so cute, so exciting. And like I said, I haven't read a full book of poems in a really long time, so I feel like this will be a fun read for me. And I've been wanting to get back into my poems. I have a couple books of poems. I think this one actually is also all poems, and it's obviously beautiful. It's like a leather bound Harvard Classics edition book that I actually thrifted, but it's in amazing condition, and it's all poems. So I want to read this one eventually. So I'm Just a Girl is the last book on our December TBR. I'll do a little rapid fire wrap up of all the books on my December TBR. So starting off, we have Orphan Train, and then we have the second book in the Love and Gelato series, which is Love and Love, and then we have the Vigilante Poets of Selwyn Academy. We have Starlight Nights, Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, and then lastly we have my book of poems, I'm Just a Girl. So we've got a good little array here for my December TBR. I'm very excited to read through these books, and you will see all of my thoughts and feelings in them in later videos this month, so I hope you will stay tuned. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!